So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream, rather early, but I'm hoping to use my colours up. Tight Yorkshire Lass. Although these were only £1 when I was doing my colour mixing earlier, a few weeks ago. I want rid of them now because I want to put the professional ones in there. But I can't just wash them out. These are the colours that I mixed from 3 colours. So I had quite a good palette. So I'm using them in this new little book and I'm quite enjoying playing with colour and colour mixing. So I just... Right, so hopefully that should be okay. And I'll do exactly what I normally do and then I won't break chat. So I'm going to just pop that down there. So I'm going to continue doing this. And leave that there. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. It looks quite a messy palette, that. And it will eventually go to mud, but I am keeping them separate. So I'm just playing about. And I do like these paler colours, I have to say. I quite like this way of working. So let me just put that onto there. Isn't it strange? When you put 2 fingers up to mean 2 minutes, you can obviously sometimes think that that's not what you've actually said. Oh dear, never mind. Let me just do this. I just text hubby because he's got grandma to the hospital. So we're not doing the barking. We're not doing the barking. Why are we not doing the barking? Okay, we are doing the barking then. We are doing the barking. Not quite sure how to do this, but we'll have a go. We'll have a go and see what we can do. We need... Does it say Twitter? I'm not sure if it says Twitter. Right, here we go. I think that's right. Oh, well, they're not going to ring me about the wheelchair then. Right, so back to here. Having a play. Having a play keeps me occupied. Keeps me out of mischief. So, again, see, that's dried very quickly, so I'm going to add some more water to this. Because I was halfway through a leaf. It's not the best time to stop halfway through a leaf, but no, it was down here. It was a bit dark. I thought it was. But just see how that goes. That's better. Not exactly perfect. Not a good idea to start halfway through a leaf. But it's not far off. This is very, very, very watered down. As I say, tight Yorkshire lass. But I'm getting some really nice pale greens, and sometimes it's quite nice. I love some vivid colours, but sometimes it's just quite nice. And the reason I'm doing it is just because I'm a tight Yorkshire lass and I cannot rinse all this colour away. So I thought I could just work with what I've got and not really think about colour as such, but just kind of play. But they're all getting some really nice colours on there. So again, it's difficult mixing when you've got a rigger. So I shall go back to a cheapy brush and put some of that yellow into that bluey green and get some more colour going in there now. Damp brush in, and these are very, very pale. I mean, I'm obviously using just going to see, and again, because I can't remember, I'm just going to touch that, and that's very similar, so I might just actually put a touch of this into it. And again, I don't have much, but that should be enough for one leaf. And that's what I'm trying to do, is to mix and match. So you can tell that that leaf is underneath that one. And you could work darker or lighter depending on how you want to do it. But because I've still got the blue and the yellow, I can still make the greens. They will be all slightly different. But this is an original blue that I have made. This isn't out of a tube. So all these colours have got a continuity together anyway. They are all connected because they've all come out of 3 colours. They've come out of alizarin crimson, cerulean blue and lemon yellow. So all these greens are connected instantly anyway. So again, if I mix all that together, that's given me another colour. And again, I'm not quite sure about it. I can just touch there and think, yes, I like that one behind there. Now, you don't have to be so pedantic and finicky or fussy if you don't want to, but I'm enjoying this, but also I want to have a little bit of artistic license in there. So, I don't just want to put this really blue-green next to this one. The only thing you can't really do with this is get a completely flat colour, unless you use it. Is that a leaf? I presume they're all leaves. Yeah, they're all going to be greens. So this could be, how many greens can you make from 3 colours if you really wanted to. And again, I'm going to bring some of this. I've got a blue over here, a different blue. This is French ultramarine, or near the nearest one, so it's a purpley. And because it's purple, it's got the red in it. And because it's got the red in it, it's going to be the orangey side of. It's going to be the orangey side of a green. I've actually put the blue into there, which I shouldn't have done, but never mind. So now when I put these together, there's going to be an olivey colour. And I can now play into there. But I could pick the same colour out of each corner because they're all matching. But I kind of like the idea. I'm not going to do that. So that's a pear green, that one, isn't it? So that could go under here. But I'm not really thinking about it's a pattern. I want that leaf to be the same all the way around. I sometimes do that with the other colouring books, the Kirby Roseanne book I do, because it's easier to do it that way. There aren't as many leaves on this. So I pick every leaf that looks like that and I do it the same colour. And then I change the green to a different colour and it's all the same green, so then all the other leaves can be the same colour. And I have to work that way with the Kirby Roseannes because they're wonderful, but there's a lot going on. So I kind of find I might want a bit of a variation now. So a little bit of that red, bringing that little bit of red into there. This is dried red. Now that's a very wet brush now. There's a lot of colour. So I've got to be a teeny bit careful. But again, just have a touch to see if... And that's quite a nice darker colour. And I didn't finish that leaf off for some reason. I can't remember why I didn't finish that leaf off. And there's a little bit too much water on that, but again, just tease it down. And this is the practice. This, again, still practicing. It's not what I would call a proper page. I don't like that green, so I'm going to use that further up here, because obviously now it's away from here and that's a different green, so it's going to give me another, and it's going to look different. If a green is next to another green or another colour, you can have two leaves identical colours, but they will look differently because of what's next to them. And that's the optical illusion with the red peppermill and the salt peppermill. If you can put the red peppermill in front of a green peppermill and then change them, one looks, it's in the distance and it's the wrong way around, and it's something to do with an optical nerve, I think. Can't quite remember. So I'm going to put a touch of this into here to give another colour. But I quite like the idea that these greens are still what we would call proper leaf greens. I don't want really way out colours. I want normal colours. And you can get darker colours underneath. And this French ultramarine into a green will give you what I call a tea rose. Sometimes you get some really dark, deep, gorgeous greens under roses. And I call that the tea green rose. I don't know what the proper term is, but I quite like some of those. So, as I say, this is a live stream, but I'm actually recording it for YouTube because I just want to... I shouldn't have done that one right next to that one, actually. I should have practiced what I preach. But this is just a practice. Now, this brush is quite big, but it's very bouncy. So again, you need a bit of a practice with it because it's not the simplest brush to work with. It's very springy. It's very, very springy. So if I do that leaf, that colour here, and that's the other side of the leaf. And there's a lot of colour on this, a lot of colour. So I'm going to, I can't leave it to dry because unfortunately under the lights, what's happening is they dry very quickly. And that doesn't go because that's a completely different green. So what I need to do is to take that green, the dark, and just give it a shade lighter. So it's right next to its original colour. Then if I put the shade in it, it might look better. It's still not perfect. So if I'm going to go over that with that colour. I've got this colour onto here now, so I'll do this one. I find 3 brushes is the best. You've got a fine one, a medium-sized one, and then a bigger one, because some of these leaves are a lot bigger. And I'll do that one as well in there, because it is a slightly different colour to that one. And just playing and playing with colour, just playing about, using up these paints, because as I said, I really cannot, even though they were cheap, I've made these colours, I cannot just get rid of them. It's just not in my nature. And the green that was on the back as well, I like that one, but it's not connected now, so I can't do that. I just want to see what this one was, because I kind of didn't finish that one off for some silly reason. There's quite too much water in there, especially for me, so I may just have to they are quite pale, but I didn't really want that pale, but hey ho. And that's quite a nice green. Sometimes I forget what I'm doing, and I forget which particular, because there's a lot of water on there, this needs to be quite dry because it's going to pick up the colour in here. So, and then twist as much colour as I can off. Even stroking it onto here will, this paintbrush has had a bit of a bad, it's got a rogue hair there, but see, there's not very much colour on there at all. And just test, because I quite like that one for those little ones. So I could go around and do all the little ones, and then they've all got a continuity. So I might do that actually. But it's quite nice sometimes just to work left to right, or right to left, depending if you're left-handed. It's a good idea not to cross your work. Ideally, it should be palette working, because you shouldn't really cross over your work with it. But because this is quite dry, I can just about get away with it. And just thought I'd just have a bit of a play. Oh, welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream. If I put my glasses on, just playing with my my kind of cheapy colours that I made from the Cotman 99p tubes, which I can't find now. And I'd made these colours a couple of weeks ago, and I did a stream of making all those colours from 3 colours: French, cerulean blue, alizarin crimson, and lemon yellow. And I wanted, so all these colours have come from 3 colours, so they've got a little bit of kind of bonding together. And then I'm making some greens, and I want rid of these colours because I want to put my professional colours in here. I want to put my cadmium red, a Winsor & Newton professional colour, alizarin crimson, French ultramarine, cerulean blue, cadmium yellow, and lemon yellow. And I want to get a squeeze into here so I can start playing again. But I can't just wash this out because I'm a tight Yorkshire lass, so I have to use this colour first. And I saw this, The Magical Jungle, by Johanna Basford. Now what I meant to do is, I was going to continue doing line drawings and continue the patterns, but just because I want to get these colours used up for this weekend, I'm just playing about with these colours, and it looks very wishy-washy, but there's still quite a lot of colour there, and I'm just enjoying playing in this quite wet, muddy palette by adding the yellows and the blues to get some unusual greens, and then popping a little bit of red in there to get some olive colours, because I really cannot just wash these colours away, and I didn't know what to do with them. And the Kirby Roseannes that I've been doing, I've been using the professional watercolours in, and I really like the way that they work. That's the wrong book. I always get confused with Imagimorphia and Animorphia, but that was my first attempt with professional watercolours, and I really enjoyed playing with it. Working very dry, but getting some really nice watercolour effects without actually using a lot of water, and the pages are very flat. This one had my husband, we were in the hospital, and my husband had to do an emergency stop because somebody pulled out in front of him, and I spilt the tablespoon of water. Otherwise that would be as flat as a pancake. So I quite like working this way, and this is flat as well. This is a new page, so I'm having a practice on this. I'm having a practice because I want to just play with the colours, and I quite like the idea that because it's a limited palette and I'm just changing the colours slightly, there's a continuity in there, and I quite like that idea. So I'm just using all these blues and yellows up to see if I can do that, because as a tight Yorkshire lass, impossible for me just to rinse all this out. The pan's just sitting in there, but then I can put my professional watercolours, and this is a stay wet palette and I quite like it, but I just cannot bear to just throw these away. So that's what I'm trying to do, and it's got very, very, very wet, and there's hardly any colour there, and yet I'm getting some really nice colours. And I quite like working this way as well. It's just stroking the colour in. I'm using 3 riggers, again a large one, a middle one, and then I've pulled out a very large one because some of these leaves are big. So I've actually got, in fact I've got 5 out. Look, I've got the Art Mastercraft Pro Art 64, that's a half rigger, and then the Art Master Pearl Series 55, I have a 2, I have a 0, a 5 0 and a 10 0, and that's given me enough to do any tiny work. And I'm trying to remember to mix my colour with an old brush, because then you're not damaging your brushes. And I'm just kind of failing into there. I've used a lot of this green yesterday, so I'm going to just try and do that. And I'm working with just twisting the colour, and I have a rogue hair on that, so I'm going to be a bit careful. But I love this way of working. It's very easy. All the pressure's on the bendy brush at the end, and it's very dry, so it doesn't buckle your pages. But I thought I would just play about with this and get rid of these paints so that I can put my professional watercolours in there, because I'm going away this weekend and I want to be able to be artistic, because I'm going to be sitting in a wheelchair and I'm going to feel extremely self-conscious. So desperately trying to do that. So welcome to Bonnie's Designs. This is a live stream for ustream.tv and also recorded for YouTube to watch at leisure. So I'm basically going through my colour mixes that I made and getting rid of them. So I have a quick slurp of tea. And I've broken chat. I always break chat, so you have to bear with me. See if I can let it go. If you've got any questions, pop them in caps, and that would be wonderful, because it would also tell me if chat is working, which would be good, because I break chat. I break chat. I don't know how I do it. I do the same thing every time, but it doesn't work. So if anybody's got any... Oh, hi Dorothy. I can see you on there, but I can't see you on there. So that's silly. Welcome to Bonnie's Designs, Dorothy. Morning. Dorothy, if I make you a moderator, would that be able to do chat, do we think? I think Little P did that for me last time, because the thing with chat is just silly. That hasn't worked, has it? I don't know what it is about chat. I do the same thing every week. I'll just press that button and see if it'll come up there. So that's what I was hoping to do, is to use these paints up. No, I don't, Dorothy, but I can see you now. So bear with me 2 seconds, see if that's come up. See if that's come up. Oh, I think we've got chat, Dorothy. Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for that. I don't know what it does. I keep meaning to have a look at it. So what I was going to do today is I bought this new book. I shouldn't have done, but The Magical Jungle. And my first idea was I was going to do some more line drawings in it, but because I want to go away, I want to get rid of these colours that I did the colour mixing, because they're in my little Stay Wet palette. So I thought I would just play with the colour. And I shall do that for a little while, and then I've got my little book. I've put some more pages in my little book. So welcome to Bunny's Designs. I think this is a live stream. This is a live stream for .tv, Ustream, and also recorded for YouTube for watching at leisure. And I'm just enjoying myself playing about with these colours, using up this palette. And this is fairly dry, this. I've made a mistake. That's the background, but nobody's going to know. Wasn't concentrating. And because it's kind of, trying not to get to be mud, but I am getting some quite nice colours that are connected, so they kind of look. And if I'm not sure, I've got some photocopy paper there just to have a bit of a play, so that will give me an idea if that leaf can go next to that leaf, because although I'm playing, I do want a little bit of variation. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but my wheelchair's just arrived. They said they would phone me at 12 o'clock, but it's arrived. So we had a lot of barking. So I do quite like that. I'm quite enjoying myself. Just to do that. But I'll just do this for a few more minutes. And now we have the postman, so we could have some more barking. So that means it must be nearly 11 o'clock, because our postman. And I've been sewing my Star Trek costume. Yay! I'm dreading being in a wheelchair for Comic-Con, the Star Trek convention, but needs must. So I want to use this. I want to get this palette empty, so that I can put my professional watercolors in. And then I will be sitting in the wheelchair in the corner, sketching and drawing, hopefully, because I'm going to be so self-conscious that I am going to be in public in a wheelchair for the first time. And but I can be sitting there like a baddie from Bond, because I'm going to be taking my tribble, my little tribble. We call the dog Tribble because he's always naughty. I'm going to Destination Star Trek, Dorothy. My daughter wanted to go for a birthday, so hubby paid for me, because I'm a bit of a Star Trek nut. And when they were younger, I used to make them watch the repeat episodes. And now my 18-year-old's turned into a Trekkie, which I think is wonderful, really. So we're going to Birmingham, and we're going on Friday. And hubby's paid for us to go. And but I want to try, if I can, to make the wheelchair into the original series Captain's Chair, with flashing lights and everything, because, as I say, I'm going to be so self-conscious of being in a wheelchair, and because I haven't been able to get about since October very well, I've put on lots of stones. And I don't mean the garden variety either. So I now look like a fat lady in a wheelchair, which is even worse than just being in a wheelchair. So I've really got to kind of get my face in the zone because um, I'm not. I just really, I just can't comprehend. But it's the only way. We were going for 3 days. There's the party. She wanted the whole works, so we're going commando. We're going partying. Um, it's going to be a long day, so I had to be in a chair. So it's going to be fun. No, it's not. No, I no, it's a freebie from the authorities. I've only waited 6 months. I don't really like it, but my little wheeler, they push me about in it and they tip me up. It's like a walker, but you can sit down in it, and I love it. And I hate to say that, but it's my bezzy. It did sit by the bookcase for about 6 weeks, and I'm looking at it going, not going to use you, not touching you, hate you, hate you. And then I went out with it, and it's like, oh, less pain, and I love it. A quick slurp of cold tea. So if I lift that up very carefully. But the thing is, when my husband pushes me in it, he stops dead, and I shoot off the other side. So I was probably going to do me more damage. So I've just got this little black wheelchair, which looks as ugly as sin, but it is brand new. So we're going to have to go around all the supermarkets looking for large cardboard pieces now to make it into a captain's chair. So the glue gun will be coming out. And if I just lift that up slightly, I'm working with quite a few riggers actually, because these leaves are bigger. It's not like the Kirby Rosannes or the Colin Thompson ones. So I'm working with all these riggers, but I'm quite enjoying myself using up all this paint and, as I say, famous hospital pot. And because of the rigger, this is perfect. That's perfect. Wash the brush out. And I'm wasting a lot of paint. Normally when I paint, this is clear, but this is a little bit wetter. It's a little bit wetter than I normally work, but I'm quite enjoying myself. And I'm trying to mix colours without, I put these away, without with paintbrushes, old paintbrushes, rather than my new ones. So if I just put the lid onto this, I can shut that up now. So as I say, love these pots, and they don't leak for obvious reasons. Oh, you're going to Ali Pali. Wow. I used to go to, well, I did go to London for my birthday, but I couldn't go anywhere. And that's when my husband, I had an attack of pseudo gout in my big toe on my right foot, which I've never had before. And it's taken three months to deform the foot. Thank you very much for that one, but hey ho. So I want to take this Stay Wet palette, and I've put the little half pans. There are some professional watercolours in there. The Sanilia. I can never pronounce that. But I want the professional watercolours in there. And then I can shut that up and take it with me. It's not a substitute for my little... Oh, I knew I'd do that. Look, I've just caught that. That's what I was working in yesterday. If I put that down there now, because I've made a mark on there, but never mind, it's only dry. So I thought I didn't need another colour book. But the other thing I want to do in here is I'm going to carry on doing backgrounds. So there's nothing in the backgrounds. I'm going to fill the backgrounds in so it looks more like this with my rotoring pen. But because I just wanted rid of those colours and a tight Yorkshire lass, I just could not throw them away. I've been playing with colour and enjoying myself. It's not as... It's a nice book to colour, watercolouring, and again it's as flat and dry. That's dried already. So I'm quite enjoying playing in there, and each book I kind of work in a different way, because this one is I love working with these watercolours slightly drier, because when you're using, what I've been using is the damp brush with the colour at the end, and then you can tease the colour and you can get the watercolour effect very dry. But the other way that I've been working today is a little bit wetter in here. So that's what I'm trying to do with that. So I'm working different ways in different books, and I wanted something that I could travel with, because the Kirby Roseannes, if you're on a train and it's bouncy, I don't want to make any mistakes. I want to kind of be a little bit more precise. So that was my idea for that one. And the same with the Colin Thompson. I want to be a bit... so sorry about the glare. Oh, I'll do that first. I'll show this first. Drink my cold tea. Oh, spilt the cold tea. It's not a good idea. Spilt the cold tea. I always have a bit of photocopy paper. Just have a bit of a wipe. So I'll show that in a second, because I'm going to do some more pages into my little book. Just let me see how long that's been. I might stop that recording and start another one. Oh no, I could carry on and then. This is what I sat and watched Dee Dee yesterday. How many hours? Oh, I don't know. My hands don't work very well, but I've put a velvet top. I bought this dress, and so I bought some velvet. So I'm going to put another side on the inside, but my hands, it's very bad stitching, but the hands don't work very well. So I sat and sewed the zigzag on the sleeves for my Uhura uniform. So I need some very, very thick black tights. So that's my Uhura kind of dress that I was sewing yesterday while I was watching Dee Dee. And I've got some gold nail varnish and gold lipstick and false eyelashes. Yes. And I'm going to dye my hair black and cut a fringe so I can put my hair up and get some big gold hooped earrings. Unfortunately, I'll be a Uhura in a wheelchair, but hey ho, I'll be there. It's not perfect, but it's homemade. And my daughter's arrived yesterday, so it should be fun. It was my daughter was a bit disgruntled because she comes home and expects me to drop everything and talk to her, bless her. And no, Dee Dee's on, and it was a bit of an epic yesterday, but thoroughly enjoyed it. The Queen of Stream. I hope she takes that as a compliment. But we all aspire to inspire people like Dee Dee does. So what I was going to show is this little video, which I bought for £1 a long time ago. This is the gentleman called David Cook. Oh, I can't call him Colin Dexter. David Cook, who is a wildlife artist, and I think I read that he lives in America now. And this is what gave me the idea for my little book. I've had this Yonks. I wish they'd bring it back, but he uses the Derwent pencils, and his paintings are amazing. But that's what gave me the idea, because he took his sketchbook and scribbled the colours in squares at the back of his sketchbook. And then, so did I, but I decided that I wanted everything into here. And so I'd forgotten about this until I saw Jenny Belly do it. She made a little book, and also Peelers came out at that time as well, so everybody was making squares. And so I just suddenly thought, oh yes, I forgot about that. So I've been trying to get lots of things in, so it's a combination of remembering. Jenny Belly I wouldn't have remembered. Then I found some old videos, and then I made my little book. So because I'm over 100 subscribers, which is wonderful, and I'm very, very grateful for that. Oh, that was interesting. I wonder how they've got wet. That's interesting. These are the Dr. Martens Hydras, and they were dry, but they decided that they're not going to be dry, but that's okay. I can use the colour off there. They're quite vibrant, and I just put my finger on that, which is not good. Baby wipe. So I put those in there last week. Now they were dry, but I wonder if it's because, I don't know, I can't believe that's not dry, but hey ho. So they're gorgeous, they're in there with the drops. And then I cut the peerless watercolours. I cut them into little squares, and I did a little, but I put them on photo paper this time. These are the photograph papers you can get for printing photographs, so it's a little bit shiny. But I did put it on the dull, it's upside down. I put it on the dull side as well, and there isn't very much difference, but I wanted to test. So there's a colour swatch and a name, and they're in there too. There's 3 pages, so there's 44, so they're in the book. And I wanted to go through this. I'll just thump it out of the way, he's fallen down. So I've cut lots of little pieces out of photo paper. Oh, brilliant, Dorothy, fab. I didn't know what the colours were. When I went, I can't remember where I found them. They were in a different set, and I thought I didn't want that. I wanted the 6 colours that I really like. So I've taken to bits now somewhere the little book, so it's easy for me because they just sit into this. We'll call that A6. And I'm conscious that my nose is almost touching the camera, so I'm trying not to talk too loudly. So we've got almost 6 inches by 4, and that fits the really smart. That's what mine looked like before I annihilated it. Oh, the Jane Davenport Peerless. Yeah, I just thought they were too pinky, but I've been greedy girl. I got them all. I got the little 44 one. I got there's 3 in there that aren't in the set for the tinting, and then I got the lovely book when that comes in the original book, and it tells you all about the history. So I really love those, have to say. I'd like the inks, but it's the packaging. It's the thingy as well, the postage. They have little bottles like this of the watercolour, so I really want to get those. So this is my little book, and the photocopy paper has been cut lengthways. That's been cut lengthways. There's a little gap at the top for labelling. And then these can either slip in one way or the other. I haven't quite decided how to do it yet, but I put those in there. And I've stuck them in with sellotape. They're just stuck in with sellotape. And so whatever I put on the back of here now, this is back of photocopy paper. So I need a piece of this, and then that's going to protect that one. And so I thought I would go into here, and I'm not quite sure if I could actually put the others in. So I bought this, and I do love it, but I've never used it. I might use it this weekend, actually, when I go away. I bought these for my daughter, so I don't even know what's in here. Oh, there's some, I think these are charcoal, but this is a set from Derwent, but again, it's quite nice to take and adapt. And so I'm going to take this, and you can add more to this if you want to for your pencils. And these are the pencils I've bought to colour, and I've never used them because I can't really use them now. Whether my hands are going to get better or not, I don't know. So this is an Albert Dürer Faber-Castell, and it has a little brush mark on it. If that has a brush mark, I will make a square and put it in. The same with the Derwent washes, the Derwent sketching washes. they'll be in there as well. And there's Graphy Tint, but I have the set of Graphy Tint, so I may just do the Graphy Tint one and then people can get the idea. Oh wait, excuse me 2 seconds. Hello? I'm afraid it's not here at the moment. Possibly, yes. Bye. Sorry about that. The phone never rings forever, and now it rings. Even this one, this is a water soluble. Anything that says water soluble, we can go in. Yes, well, I wanted to get some more, Dorothy, but I can't get to Paper Chase either. But there is a big one in London. So now I've got my wheelchair. There's no, and that's another one. If it's a different, that's a light one. So we can put these in to the book today. And again, this is it's a paper glass metal, but I think because it's got the little brush on it, that goes in. I'm a bit obsessive. I look to see if it's got this mark, and if it has, they go in. And the Prismalo, they have a watermark as well, so they can go in. So if I take those out here, I might not be able to do too many. I think all these go in. If it says water soluble, there's the, and these are lovely for doing washes as well. So if you want to go and do a wash, I'm not going to take all these pencils with me. If you want to go do a wash, you can do. I think that may have a water. That says washable, water soluble. So again, that's going in. And that's what I've been doing, is going through all my stash. And that's what I love about this little book. Not to go out and buy tons of expensive things, but to look to see what you've got and get those in. And so that was my idea. So what I'm going to do is I'll stop this recording and then I'll start it about the little book, and we'll put a page in there. Do we think that's a good idea? If you could type in caps, Dorothy, that'd be perfect, because I could take my glasses off, because I'm as blind as a bat today. I'm not quite sure why. I'm just as blind as a bat. So I do love the little book. But because I have a lot in here and it's quite long, what I did is there was like a natural edge, and so I broke the spine to make, instead of just having a 2 spine, I've got 4. I can't bend it down now. And so I widened the spine so I could get more in. But I think that's, you still get hundreds in there, and that's a lovely size. And because it's really slim, you just pop a rubber band over it. And I do use the water brushes. If you look at my early videos that I made, I used a water brush when I was colouring in, but I've adapted this to be easier and not as wet. And I quite like that, but there isn't a reason why you couldn't have your little water brush and then you're away. And if you have, this is an original sketchbook, so if you have your sketchbook, your water brush, that's all you need in the bottom of your handbag, which is, we said 6 inches, well it's 7 because it's got the edge on it, so that's 7 inches, and it's probably 1 inch if you have your water brush. And then that's all you need to go out and about, which is quite handy for you. And if you've got your pencil sketches in there, you can get some gorgeous pencil washes. So these inks don't always dry, but as I say, mine showed quickly. Yes, and it's a paper, and they're only £1.50. I need to get some more. I have to get some more. And it's a 24 pocket photo album, so you've got quite a few pages, because everywhere you can put a photograph, you can put 24 pages. as I say, I cheated a little bit, and because this one was an original, and the original looks quite yucky. I found it the other day, and I thought, oh, that's rather odd looking. But I've been collecting things because you don't have to have a paper chase one. It depends what size. This is from Wilko's, and again adapted it. I thought I could take these out or use them as pages. I mean, there's no reason why. It's furry in the middle there, so you could take this out and make the plastic. This is a lovely size as well. This is an A5 Polyview. We call that A5. I think that's, I'll measure that one. It's a big box on the table now. This one is 9 or 8 and tea's going to go on the table in a minute. 8 3/4 by 5, I think they are, aren't they? Oh, by 6. But then really thin. There's, it does tell you, it's quite a few pages, and again I've put the photo paper in a different way and stuck it in so that I've got colours here and colours here. So I've got 2 pages in between each one. But there's no reason why you can't cut down here and down here, and then you've got twice as many pages. It looks a bit ugly, I have to say, but it works. But again, that then would fit into what we would call the Hobonichi. Well, I find my fake Hobonichi. Popped it somewhere. So that fits in your Hobonichi, and again, how thin is that? So there's quite nice things in there. So I'll just stop this recording really quickly, and then I'll start it about the little book of watercolours, if that's okay. I'm going to open the book up the right way around, so we're not... Oh, I have put them in backwards. But, oh no, I was going to put them at the back. They're the back, so I'm working backwards. I'm working backwards today, so that's encouraging, isn't it? So I'll stop this recording, and I'll just